Hello guys, myself Meet Nagadia and welcome to the part 2 of scraping data using Wikipedia. So basically, this is the second video of the series of scraping data from Wikipedia. If you haven't watched the first part, I'll highly recommend you to check out the first part because it is a basic introduction to how we can scrape the data from Wikipedia. It is like of tutorials. We are exploring the Wikipedia module. Here we will directly implement the module that we saw in the first part, so I would highly recommend you to watch the first one. And also I have given the link of the first part here as well. So by the way, this is Kaggle. So this is like the online community of data scientists and the data enthusiasts, machine learning engineers, and people related to it, who post content on data science and machine learning field. This is my notebook here for the part 1. I will give the link to the first and this notebook in the description. So let's move to the part 2. So here we are with the part 2, and majorly here will be taking the topic list that we want to scrape the data, and then we'll store it into the CSV file so we can use it for the later. So this is the Kaggle, and so the steps that we are going to follow for the part 2 are very simple. So first step would be we'll be creating a list of topics we need to scrap data about. So I have created a list where I have stored the topic names that I need to scrape data about, and we'll also do one thing. We'll also take the suggestions from the Wikipedia module that it gives, so that we get a large amount of data and not just about the single topic that we have selected. The second step would be will be creating a variable to store our results. So as the data is being scrapped from the Wikipedia, so we need to store it somewhere. So first we will be storing it in a variable, and then we'll be storing it into the file, or file of whatever the format, like for example JSON or CSV, and or even TXT. And then what we'll do is we'll initialize a counter for counting the topics that we have scrapped. It is optional. It is just to get to know about how many or how many uh, articles have been scrapped. It is completely optional. As well as then we will start with our scraping. So how can we do scraping? So here we have created a function named create underscore data that will take the input, which is the search term, and then it will scrape the data from the Wikipedia, and it will return us the result in the dictionary format. Then we will store that, and we'll also look into the disambiguation error, which I earlier told in part 1, and here it plays an important role because our script will stop whenever it will get the disambiguation error. We'll discuss when we are creating this function, and also we will then take a loop, so that we will iterate loop into the topic list, and then we'll call our create underscore data function, and we'll pass the topic that we want to scrape, and then we'll store the data. So first of all, as I've already told in part 1, that we need to first install the Wikipedia uh, library. So what I'll do is I'll just restart it restart my session so we can do it from start. So what I'll do is I'll just restart the session. Just a second. Oh, the data that you are seeing here is already being scraped. I have already run the script and I already stored the data, so it is present here as an input. So let's now first So the session is still starting. Yep, it's done. So what I'll do is I'll just run the first block of code, which says first we need to install the Wikipedia library as well as MediaWiki API. We need both of this, but I have also imported python.display and from python.display import clear output. So all of this messy stuff will be gone once the both the libraries are installed, because I have put here the clear output. Yep. So we are done with installing the library. Now what we'll do is we'll import the libraries that we need. So first of all, we'll need random, because we need to deal with the disambiguation error. Then we need Wikipedia, NumPy, Pandas, and we need Wikipedia.exception and the pager. This is related to this ambiguation error. We'll explain that later. So now what I have done here is I created a topic list. So what is this? So basically this is the list containing topics that I need to scrape data about. So I have put a few labels that I needed, or few topics that I need to scrape. So they are very basic and they are completely random. Nothing is related to each other, I guess. So first is deep learning, Bitcoin, change control, communication security, cryptography, Hugging Face, and you can read that. So here I have just created a list containing topics that I want to scrape data about. Okay, so the next step is we'll create an empty list to store our data, and we'll also initialize the counter to 0. Our scrape data will be stored in this list, and this is the counter for counting how many data or how many articles are being scraped. Because we are using for loop as well as a function, will we'll don't get the idea of how many articles are being scraped. And also we are using suggestions in the article, so we'll also get to know about how much articles in total we have got. So now we'll talk about the disambiguation error, as well as we'll also talk about the function that we have created so that we can scrape the data about. So the disambiguation error is the page error in Wikipedia. Suppose, let's say, one topic which is Inception movie. So I know it will be available in Wikipedia, but we are also taking the suggestions, and suggestions in the Wikipedia does not mean that the article is completely available. Sometimes it has other links, and maybe that link is expired, or maybe the URL doesn't exist anymore, but in Wikipedia it is stored. So what happens is when we try to access that URL, or when we try to access that page, it throws us the disambiguation error. So I have put up some links for the disambiguation error on Stack Overflow as well as on GitHub. You can go through it, and you will get more idea about how we can solve this error, as well as what this error actually means, and we can try it around and play it around. So now um yep, so now we will create a function, create underscore data, which will take as input the search term, and will return the data in a format of title, text, URL, link for the suggested topic. So it will create one dictionary for it, and it will give this data about the topic to us that is present in the Wikipedia articles. So here we will also take the suggestions, or we can say the related articles, to avoid the disambiguation error. So if for example, let's say if there is no let's say Tony Stark. So if I create a spelling mistake like this, Tony AK, and if a page is not available of Tony AK, then it will search related to Tony AK. If it gets any, it will give us the data about it. and if it doesn't, we'll just ignore it. That's the simple point. So what I'll do is I'll now explain the function. So we'll create a function data underscore create underscore data to scrape the data from the Wikipedia. So what we will do is we'll first create underscore data in the search term. Now we'll take result underscore list, which would be equals to wikipedia dot search. This is the search function from the Wikipedia module. Well, we'll give the search term, the topic that we want, plus the number of results that we want. Okay, so first we'll give the term that we want to search and then the number of results we want from that. So we can increase it to 500 or let's say just 2, 3, whatever we want. But it will only return the suggestions that much are available in that article. So now we are creating an empty list. Wiki underscore search with underscore results is equals to empty list. For each underscore result in result list, in this one, we'll create an empty dictionary and we'll first of all use try except block, because we know that we can get error on the disambiguation or the page error. So what we'll do is we'll create the object of that page. We know that wikipedia.page will give us the object, and from that object we can get the title, the content, URL, links, whatever that we want. So first we'll do that. We'll write except page error, and if we get page error, please continue, skip that part. If we get the disambiguation error, what we'll do is we'll create, or will here we have just written s is equals to 1, which means that we are directly jumping onto the suggestions directly, avoiding that whole page. So then we'll get the page for that topic. So let's say we wrote Tony AK, but we don't get Tony AK anything, but it is showing anything such as Tony Stark or Tony dash 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 dash. We have kind of list. So what we'll do, we'll just jump on to the first or the second element. It starts from 0, so we'll directly jump to the second suggestion. We can here also write random dot choice, but sometimes it may happen again, it may give you a page error or the substitution error. So what we'll just do is we'll just take the first or the first here, that means the second suggestion. So now we will get our title in Wikipedia page underscore object dot title. If we want the content, that is text of the article, we'll just get the object dot content. We want URL, we'll write object dot URL. Links, then object dot links. I mean Wikipedia underscore page underscore obj dot links. Then what we'll do is we'll append this whole thing to the list that we have created up here. So everything gets stored as a dictionary format, and then we are storing it as a list. So this will happen over and over again till, suppose let's say we take the first deep learning. So deep learning search term will go here. It will search for the deep learning as well as the 20 related things to it. Will store first thing, second thing, third thing up till the 20th suggestion. If we don't get anything, we skip here. If we get page error, we get skip here. If the deep learning suggestion is not meeting any article, we'll take the suggestion to avoid disambiguation, and once the deep learning is done, it will give the second topic and will run again. Okay, so this is how the thing is. But let's say, okay, so I need to run this. Yeah, scraping data sometimes take time, because it's will also run this. Okay, so I am getting an error. It's keyboard interrupt. Okay, that's no issue. Yeah, so now what I'll do is I'll just run it. Wikipedia is not defined. Just a second. How come Wikipedia is not defined? We have run this. Oh, we didn't import it correct. Okay. Anyway, so now this is going to take about 10 to 15 minutes. So till that time, I will explain what this for loop does. And I have also already scraped the data. So I'll just will show you how the things looks like. Okay. So yeah. Now, um, yeah, this for loop. So as I already told you that we created a function where we just need to give the topic name, topic underscore name, or let's just say topic. We'll pass that topic from topic underscore list. So this function will take only one topic, and we have a list, so we'll use for loop to iterate into the topic list and then call the create underscore data function. Will just take one topic at a time, and it creates the data, stores the data. So what I have done is for index in topics underscore list, this is the topic underscore list, and outcome is equals to create underscore data and then index. So one by one we'll go into the iterate into the topic list, we'll get the our topic and we'll put it into the create underscore data. And here it is returning the wiki search results, which is the whole dictionary of the data that we have scraped, and it is giving us back. So we will store it into the result. So if you remember, result is an empty list that we have already defined above our function. So we'll just do that, and we'll say count is plus is equals to 1. So we'll say that our one of the topic is scraped, already scraped, and we'll start with the other. So by the way, this is just the warning error, so we can completely ignore that. No issues for that. We have already took the major errors here, taken care of the major error here, so no need to worry about that. And yep, that's it. So we are finally then printing the length of the result, how many data that we have scraped. Then we are printing the data, and this is just the reformatting because we have got the data into the dictionary format. So we'll have a list containing multiple dictionaries according to the topic that we have got. So then we are just reformatting it, and then we are converting that to the data frame, and we just printing the dimensions of the data and column names that we have. It would usually be the title, URL, title, content, URL, and links. And then we'll just printing the whole data. We'll print the title, content, and then we'll store it into the CSV file. We can also store into the JSON file as we wish, or even the TXT file. It is upon us what type of format we want. So what I'll do is I'll just stop the running, and I have created already run the script, and I got the data that is stored here, as you can see. So I'm just loading it into the df data frame df. I'll just run it. So yep, so we got it. So this is how our data would look like. First, the title is the application security and it contents. So this is the content, the URL of that page, and also the links. So what I'll do is I'll write df dot columns. So we'll get to know about the column names. So content, title, content, URL, and links as expected. Df.shape, this will show us the dimensions of the data frame. So we have about 400 column, 2 minus, okay, so we have and 400 rows, I'm very sorry, 400 rows and 4 columns. So if we write df dot is null to check if we have any null values, it should return as 0 only. Yep, 0, and we don't have any. So what we'll do is we'll print one by one. Let's say we'll first print, we have title, so title, title, Yep, we got all the titles, df, and we'll also have content. We can also do one thing, which is just write here as 0, then we'll get the df content, and here we'll write 0, so we get the whole content about the first topic of the topic list. And into the first suggestion we can change the number here and we'll get the different output. So what we'll do is we'll see links. We also have links related to it. Yep, we got the links that are, they are not the direct links, for example HTTPS and direct links. These are only the topic names that are associated to this. We are also going to URL, so these are the actual, oh I'm sorry, URL. Yep, so this is the actual, and if we click on it we can actually go to this. See, okay, so we have this, and finally we have done everything, right? Yep, we checked for the null values, we checked for the shape, we got the columns, and this is how our data is looking like. We have different types of things here going on. So yeah, that's it. So this is how you can scrape data from Wikipedia module. I have just created the small list. This is the keyboard interrupt error because I have stopped the running in between. So this is the small, you can say, the topic list that I have created, for which I needed to scrape the data about. There are multiple ways to play around with it. You can create a list, or you can just give the terms as well as directly call the function, give the name directly to it. But I have created a list because creating a list is kind of easy, but again it's kind of manually to write all the topics here. So yeah, that's it. This is how you can scrape the data from Wikipedia. So the future work here would be, we got the content, as we can see here. If I just press 0 here, so we'll get, this is the first article of the whole content that we scraped. So here if you can see, we have kind of is equals to slash, and we have some uneven unwanted punctuations as well as unwanted special characters we need to deal about. So we'll do that into the another series, another video, which would be about the pre-processing of the Wikipedia corpus that we have just collected. And it might take some time, about 15 to 20 minutes as well, because depending upon the suggestions. Because when I run the script, it took about 10 to 15 minutes, which collected only about 400 data. So sometimes it might take time based upon the topics that you have given. And as well as in the next video we'll be doing the pre-processing on the Wikipedia corpus. So we'll be removing stop words, punctuations, links, digits from the text, as well as emojis. We'll do the data pre-processing, the NLP step for data cleaning, to put it into our model and then predict. So here we'll be performing on the later modules. We'll be doing the clustering on Wikipedia corpus. So this is the minimal Wikipedia corpus of about 400 rows. So we'll try to perform on 1000, or let's say 5000 of rows of data, so that we can get a proper model for clustering. So this is kind of topic modeling, which is one of the NLP tasks. So here the Wikipedia module can be used for so many purposes, for data mining, collecting data about the products, and you can do topic modeling on it. You can even use it for the auto completion. You can also use it for various purposes. You can even use the um, into the reviews. For example, let's say if you want to try to get the analysis of the data, for example, how the user is replying to a product for in its feedback, you can use for that as well. But that's whole another thing. But this in this series we are trying to do the topic modeling. So in the first two modules we just get to know about the Wikipedia module, as well as we scrape the data for our module. This is just the academic project type, so we don't have that large amount of data, but we have enough to get started with, to play around with. So yeah, that's it. So this is our future work. So I hope you enjoyed it. You are learning too many new things. I guess it is not boring. So yep. So that's it for this video. Hope to see you in next one. Have a great day. Happy learning. Bye bye.